I'd like to call to order the meeting of the West Bend Community Memorial Library Board for Tuesday, February 25th. It is 6:30. I'll ask for an approval of the agenda,
So moved.
but since Amy does not have the information for the van lease, we would like to remove that from the agenda, which is 9, new business, B, approval of van. So can we ask for an approval? Doug,
Approved. So
second?
I'll second.
Okay. We've grown,
You can
people.
pick.
We've grown. We used to sit and wait for that second.
Okay.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of approving the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I would like to ask for an approval of the minutes of the January 21st meeting and also the library expenditures for January 2020.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, financial reports and fund balance.
All right, on the first page, there is nothing too exciting to announce. Second page, there was nothing exciting as well. All we had was some interest income. Technically, the amount for the building fund, that $3,395, is now $2,924, but I didn't get the confirmation from Carrie until yesterday, so.
And what was that for? That was
It
for
was
the
towards the,
original check? or-
towards the blooper, the
The-
architectural stuff,
Okay.
yeah.
We paid a bill.
Did you put this together or did Carrie send it?
Carrie
Carrie
did that.
sent it.
Okay, this is Doug, what you had asked for the interest?
But not, I did not intend for it every month.
Well, you're getting it.
I
Well,
wasn't definitive enough. How about annually? Semi-annually.
Okay,
okay.
You'll cut down the paper.
okay, all right. Thank you. Any questions, in regards to the finances? Okay.
Go to B.
We will go to B, approval of the address change for BMO brokerage account certificate of deposit.
In order to change the address on the BMO brokerage account, which is for the CD, we need to have a motion and a second and approval.
What's the change of address for?
Right now it is at James Knopfler's place.
Yeah.
And
That's a good reason to do it.
we need to have it changed back to the library. And it'll then follow suit with the other BMO accounts. They wanted a separate motion to approve that, so that's what we're asking for.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, public comments, here we go. Any public comments? No
I'll
public.
usher them in.
You'll usher them?
Yes,
Thank
one
you.
at a time.
Shouldn't joke. Okay, moving on to number 7, number 6, library director's report.
Hello. Our winter reading programs are still going strong. They're ending March 6th. So bring your slips in for the adults and bring your bingo cards in for the kids and teens to receive your prizes.
How do you know winter's gonna end then?
That's what we're hoping.
Right.
We're hoping that, but we had to put an end date, so you never know. The Crossing the Line exhibit is upstairs on the second floor. If you would like to see that, it's from the Wisconsin Historical Society, and it tells the story of the civil rights marches in Milwaukee. So it was very interesting to see. Tax forms are available on the second floor for those of you who need them, on the public and for board members. We have the most common tax forms, and if people need any additional ones, we do print them out for 25 cents a page. Let's see. I had a couple of things about expanding programs. We added a Needles in the Book Stacks group on Wednesday afternoons because the Mondays was getting so full. And the ladies have been asking for it. So we added one of those. And then the Read with Rover has been also very popular. And we were able to get extra therapy dogs to come and volunteer their time, which is really great too for the kids.
Are there any additional costs in that adding the needles in the hay book stack?
No,
Good, good.
no.
That Needles in the Book Stacks, if you do go on Facebook, they have a Facebook page.
Yep.
And it's interesting. They had a Christmas party
Yeah.
and they had updates on that. So it's just
Yeah.
interesting to see what the
They've
people
kind of become
do.
their own group,
Yeah,
and they're pretty self-sufficient, actually, so
they're big. I mean, you get, sometimes you get,
17, 18 people in this room
Wow.
on Monday
and
nights.
you watch out for those ladies with those needles. Those knitting needles, yeah.
The Stars and Stripes Honor Flight exhibit is coming back next October. We did do that. And then the 2020 census, we will have the mobile lab come here, and we're going to have extra computers for people to fill out the census. It's pretty important that we get the census done and that everybody is counted. It's for federal funding and for different jurisdictions, and redistricting and all that stuff happens with the census. So we want to make sure everyone is counted. I'm also working with Casa Guadalupe to get translators. So if people come in that are Hispanic and cannot speak English, we'll have some translators at different times during that week.
Do you know the percentage of the Hispanic population in West
I
Bend?
don't off the top of my head.
Thank you.
It's one reason to do the census, so we find out really how many people we have that are Hispanic as well. Okay. I just want to mention, I went to Library Legislative Day this month, and we had a good program in the morning, and then I was able to meet with Dewey Strobel's office and with Rick Gundrum's office during Library Legislative Day and talk to them about libraries, and it was great. Can advocate for them. Statistics, you will notice that the first page of statistics looks different than the second. That's done intentionally. We are going to start recording our statistics a little bit differently to help gauge with the annual report. How they're counting young adult programs and circulations are more with adult than they are with children. So we're going to just separate them out, because if they change their mind again, then we can just add them the other way.
Good idea.
So that's why that's different. I also want to note that the wireless logins are still not reportable yet. The system is working on the reporting for that. So I'm hoping to get those numbers really soon. Does anybody have any comments or questions about the statistics?
Overall, yeah, overall, it looks pretty good. And we're still a net borrower, like you
Yes,
see.
we are. Yes, we are.
Oh, I got a question.
Yeah.
Dementia Resource Center circulation. What does that number 13 and 11 represent? It's 11
oh.
what?
11 items circulated from that collection.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Amy, how long is the Crossing the Line exhibit upstairs?
Till the end of the month.
Of February? Darn, okay.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Any questions for Amy on anything on her report? If not, we will.
Oh, I just also wanted to mention the recent Gallup poll. I did put that in your packet for you to review. We are #1 of cultural activities that people go to, which is really cool. And it looks like we're hitting the millennials too. So that's really nice to see as well.
Comment.
Yes.
The one big word here, though, that it's missing is free. And it would be interesting to see what would happen if the library were to increase some of our prices to, you know, the equivalency of community, you know, movies and that,
How that would change
then
things.
I think it would change significantly,
Yeah.
which does not take away from the fact that the library is a resource in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the analysis that was in there about the income
Yes,
distribution
shows
was
that.
very helpful.
Yep. That's all I have for that report.
Oh, we'll move on to the library board president's report. I wanted to just ask regarding Amy's report that she presents. She's been including the meetings and activities that she goes to, and I had asked her to put those on for us so that at the end of the year, we know what she's been doing. Now, you're not gonna run an accumulative report, this one, you're just gonna print out each month?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because otherwise, that would become very
It would
lengthy.
become very long. Yes.
All right.
Yes.
It's still long.
Yes, it is.
I do a lot.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, that's the only thing I have. Any questions for me on anything?
A comment on the list, I guess I had asked Amy about this earlier, and that's that, that on that list of meetings, I guess I would like to see, and it would help me at the end of the year, if there was an indication, with at least on the major ones, what the outcome was of the meeting, what the purpose is, or something that would give me a sense of evaluating if those engagement objectives are being met.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, you also have listed in here your objectives and,
Yes. But a lot of those transfer over from what I do, so I can transfer that information as well.
okay, and maybe specify in
Yep.
there which ones were successful or
Yep.
like
Or
what Joanne is.
weren't. Yep.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, we will move on to old business. Monarch Library System update.
Okay, in your packet, I gave you a little, update on the PLSR project that's going on, through the state. And I can let you read that, I don't need to rebut that. Library Legislative Day had 6-member libraries from our system attend, along with the system director. And between all of us, we were able to visit all the offices of representatives and senators in the Monarch Library System. So that was great that all of our reps got a librarian to talk to. The technology backup environment that I talk about in the packet, we're working with other library systems for that. And the collaboration between the systems is going to become part of WPLC, which we know them as the Overdrive
Oh, yeah.
housers. You know, they take care of the collaborative efforts between systems and collection development for Overdrive. So this would just be another project that would come under their umbrella. Talked about that already. And then there's the whole debate on the fine-free, which I just mentioned. There's more libraries becoming fine-free, and I just want you to know that that's on the radar, that's happening in the country and in our state, so. Just
You
give you an
may
update on
end
that.
up being the only library that keeps charging fines.
I don't know.
You gotta teach responsibility,
I'm pretty sure Milwaukee will stay there too.
Yeah,
will you?
yeah. Okay,
Okay.
that's all I have.
The
Do you have any-
Monarch
Do you have-
Board, we finally met, and it's like gonna be every other month. They elected the officers, and basically it was everybody the same except for the treasurer, who was be Dan Stuffle. There was an item added to their agenda that I had suggested, and it was continuing education. And Jennifer spent quite a bit of time on the various areas that Monarch is associated with, or resources that directors and libraries can go to for free continuing education. And it was helpful there were a couple comments that the other library systems were appreciative of that also, and it was kind of directed toward what we were talking about for continuing education. Jennifer was offered the job as a permanent director for Monarch, and the system is now putting together a formal offer and with benefits and everything to it, but she expressed interest that she would want to stay on. And there was a discussion about system-sponsored events where Monarch basically pays. And it was for, a good example is that thing in Horicon. A lot of positive comments from the attendees, but the payback for Monarch was rather questionable. And so those may not be funded again because they can use the money for potentially marketing or some other areas. And that was the highlights of the Monarch board meeting.
Any questions for either Amy or Doug regarding Monarch? If not, we will move on to item B, Library Recreation Center update.
I would like to introduce Mike Gench. Hi. He's down at the end. Mike is the new Director of Parks, Recreation, and Forestry. And I just invited him to our meeting so that you could meet him and know who he is. So you'll be seeing him as the project moves forward as well.
I have a couple of questions for you, Mike. And this is, needless to say, why wouldn't I be the only one to ask the question? But this is coming from the article in the newspaper on February 21st. And one of the questions I have is that you stated that this addition to our basement could increase revenues for both the Parks and Recreation and the library departments. And I'd like to know where you see increase in our revenue for the library.
Programming, increase your programming capabilities.
But they're free.
I'm not a librarian, so I don't know.
No,
No, Doug, I don't know all the particulars on your
No, but
programs, what you charge and things like that.
Okay, but my comment is, you made the comment that this will increase the revenue to the library without knowing anything about it, right?
I guess so, Doug.
Okay. And then, you also stated that the library needs larger capacity for rooms for some of their programs, yet I've not seen a request in any of our budgets for increased room capacity.
I was told that some of your programs are maxed out at 12 people, and those programs are becoming maxed out, and the larger rooms will be able to facilitate larger capacity classes. That's all was explained to me.
I remember in our discussions, it was a want or a desire as opposed to a need. And my point being here is that this is going out to the public, and the public is being led a little astray. If you want to call it, fake news, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But I have a concern with statements that are being made that really don't apply. Where have we seen in our budget a need for more space? We haven't. And then the other thing is that you're saying that the $125,000 that you're expecting is going to be donations. I was under the understanding, we've been told it would come from the reserves and not donations.
Right now, we are looking at using, correct me if I'm wrong. Well, first of all, let me back up. I was not trying to misdirect anyone during a public meeting. I was not trying to provide fake news whatsoever at a public meeting. I was providing the information that I had available to me. And if I misspoke in any way, shape, or form, I apologize for that, but that was not my intent.
Okay.
To get to the funding source, the library reserve fund is going to be part of the funding source. The recreation fund will be part of the funding source, and then donations.
Okay, so they're still planning on using the reserve from parks? Okay.
Yes, from the yes.
Okay.
Right now, we are committed to $150,000 of recreational funding.
Okay.
Yep.
Now, is the 25,000 donation part of that already?
No,
Or is that in addition to?
no. $150,000 is from the recreation account.
Okay.
It's not a donation.
But it said there's a $25,000 donation has come in.
Right?
So that means there would be like $175,000 that could be coming in. That's super.
Yep.
That's good. Okay. Just had a question. That's it.
So I think we've discussed about when the space is not being used, I mean, we have the ability to rent the space out, right?
Right.
So that would be an income, driver right there too. And just to piggyback on this, I would encourage you all to come to the March 2nd Common Council meeting, as there may be a big announcement in regards to this project.
Writing it down,
Maybe you want
Chris.
to come at 6 o'clock and we can take some pictures with some other people.
You wouldn't happen to be wearing your badge, would you? You wouldn't be using
I wear
that,
many hats.
you wouldn't use that for political advantage, would you?
But no, in all seriousness, I mean, you know what I've been working on for a while, and this will be a nice announcement to help fund this project moving forward. So
Write it down,
I would
Chris.
encourage you all to be there, March 2nd, common council meeting, we want to meet at 6. Mike, you know that you can invite your park
Monday.
friends too, and I'm gonna invite some
Monday.
members of my club as well.
I
Also,
will
I'll get
mark
excited.
my work calendar.
Mike, have you heard anything from anybody regarding the article in the paper on this positive feedback? Have you been
My
getting?
mother called me and
That doesn't count.
Great, that's good.
no, actually, I mean, staff,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
you see the paper kind of deal, but beyond that, no.
Okay.
Nope.
Well, we'll keep the word out there, and if we start hearing things, we'll let each other know.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We actually never introduced ourselves to you, but
That's fine, you all have name tags, I don't.
I know.
any
Oh,
other?
we do have that. It's been a long day at work, yeah.
That Las Vegas got to you. You sure you didn't drink? Any other questions regarding the, resource, yeah, the resource, the recreation? And it did say when they were,
Did it go out for bids?
yeah,
Not
it's
yet.
going
Not
out
yet.
on March 24th.
Okay.
No,
I
we're,
didn't-
Well,
we're
they- no,
probably
no.
gonna go out earlier, possibly the first week of March. And then we
There it is.
have
Looking for the,
a
pre-bid.
pre-bid meeting would be the 24th.
Will
at the
that be
latest.
Here?
Yes.
Zimmerman is still
Finally,
finalizing some of the
okay.
specifications, and
Okay.
then, we don't do this for a living, so that's why they're doing kind of final stuff.
No, I understand.
That's why they're hired, so.
Yep.
Okay.
I do have a question, another question for Amy. There's, the MOU is being drawn up by the city attorney. Who pays for that?
I think we'd
Don't
split it.
ask, don't tell. Maybe they won't charge us.
You had to mention
Nice
it.
try,
You had to mention, now it's on camera.
nice try.
Normally, we don't pay for, we like a specific department, we don't pay for the attorney's fees, it's just a
Come-
general fund item that, I mean, they review different documents and contracts and things like that for us all the time. And the departments aren't invoiced.
I
It's
am.
just- it's part
We
of-
are.
We are.
Again, I'm just saying from our end,
Right.
from our perspective.
Well, good, you are writing
think
it,
we
so.
put
we
your
won't
name
be-
on it.
I sent it to Ian, so maybe he will.
Okay.
Name on it.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
So we don't know if we're gonna be
We're
in
not
charge.
sure yet.
Okay.
Well, I don't think it should take that long, even if it takes a lawyer an hour to put it together.
That's $200.
Thank you.
Be more than that.
And I guess if you had,
That just gets you in the door.
Okay, enough of that. We will move on to number 8, old business, continuing education for the library director.
Okay, this was tabled last meeting for you guys to look at it and come to a decision whether or not I would take the Dale Carnegie course or not. I had found another course that was maybe comparable, I'm not too sure, I haven't talked to the instructors or anything, that I found in Marine Parks catalog, and thought I would bring it to you, see if you thought that was interesting or not. And if it's not, that's okay.
What about these free courses?
I have taken some of the free courses.
But there are
yes.
more available, right?
They're available continuously throughout the
Right.
year.
And so, my thought is, I talked to Jennifer Chamberlain, and this kind of surprised me. I said, we had $4,000 for continuing education. She says, first reaction was, she says, that's not much.
Well, no,
And we know
We
that.
know.
we know.
So my thought is, as a suggestion, what if the director were to work on the free courses that are available in various resources and use this money for staff? So that a number of the staff can take, and I don't know what they are, $400 or $500 course for their education, and it becomes, I remember when I was in business, if you got to go to a seminar, you got to go to one of these things, this was kind of a pat on the back that, we anticipate you doing better, we want to help you. And do we ever do that for our staff members?
Yes.
To people, and if we can send more of them out to something like this
Okay.
and utilize that money. As opposed to.
To the smaller classes
Right,
that maybe
smaller
cost a couple
classes.
$100.
Instead of, $1,600, $1,700 for one course, you might be able to get 3 or 4 courses for that money.
Right.
So more staff can, all the staff can
Yes.
participate, yes.
But at the same time, it was one of our,
But that was in in a closed session, and if we're gonna discuss that, we should go into a closed session.
okay.
It was.
That came up in the appraisal process. That we
Yes.
thought we would do
Yes,
some
right,
training.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So then we're not saying that we want to send her to training. I mean, the free.
and I don't know if it,
It's very difficult to talk about it in an open session.
Well, we just need to stay on task with this right now. Do we want to do the
Send-
Dale
so
then
Carnegie
do we-
or
right.
go to Moraine
So
Park
the
or look at
question I
other
have
options?
Without looking at the course description of whatever is offered through the system, is that equivalent to what these are? And are they the same time? I mean, without
Right.
having all of that in front of me, I honestly
Yeah.
couldn't say what I would recommend at this point. That's
I
just
will
my
say
opinion.
most of the free stuff that's offered by the system are generally for librarians. And they're library staffs that attend those trainings. And usually only library staff, because they're library related. I will say that this class, the Dale Carnegie course, will cross industries and have people from different industries. So I'd be learning from people who are in business, people who are in nonprofits, people who are other
Well, you got that
areas.
already when you attended the city course.
Correct, that's where I met a lot of
Yeah.
people.
I guess
do,
I thought the purpose of this was not so much about the library function as a marketing and communication function that we wanted to improve. And it wasn't really to improve the librarian skills or, of you or the staff. It was more like a marketing outreach kind of goal that we had. And so if there's not enough information to vote on it tonight, that's fine, but I think when we do discuss it, we should clarify what the goal of this is, and my impression it was about outreach and communication, not to raise the level of the staff.
No, the discussion was, this account, and that's my only point, is for continuing education for the library. If you use it for one person, the rest of the people aren't getting a fair share. That's my only point.
Right.
And so the only way we could give a fair, if we were gonna come up with, say, $1,700 or the equivalency for all the staff, we'd probably have a $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 fund. So my point being is that to spread the money around, we should be looking to Amy to take courses that are free and that are offered also by other systems. And I think, I had told you I would talk to Jennifer, and I did, and she came up with suggestions, and unfortunately I lost my dumb note that I wrote them down on. But she had some ideas, and she brought those to bear also in the Monarch Board meeting, that there are other resources that do leadership type courses in addition to marketing and anything else, and we should look at utilizing that.
One of the things I know, oh, go ahead, Chris.
Well, I was going to say to Amy's point, it sounds like the resources used through the system, the free ones and all that stuff, are more targeted towards our librarians. So I think we can do both. We can hit everybody within our library with those free alternatives and still support Amy's development this way. And one thing I want to ask Amy, did Paul go over the, I don't know if they still call it signature project, but like the key project that you go through? So what's really cool about that, and I'll put on my Dale Carnegie hat, in disclosure, I worked for Dale Carnegie for a number of years. Don't work anymore, so I'm not going to make any financial benefits. But what's cool is that going through that process, you get to pick whatever kind of key project that you want it to be and kind of make it your own. So some people choose to, well, how am I going to make my business more profitable? How am I going to do this or that? So Amy can kind of take it to be, whether it's a marketing aspect or whatever it is, and really develop that. And over the weeks, she can update us on the progress of this is what I set my goal to be. I want to increase patron count, or I want to do this or that. And so I just know from that experience that that's where this can be valuable. But again, that would be up to Amy and how she wants to craft this
No.
to be her own.
But she has taken the leadership course, and Brad, you have taken
He's a
the course also. Maybe what Joanne had said about marketing, maybe we should have Amy put together what she thinks she needs
Which
as
one
a
of these
training.
would you prefer to attend?
If
Or-
I had to choose between the two, Dale Carnegie.
What, so two things. How often do other librarians ask to attend something?
It really depends on what it is. I do pay mileage when they're outside of the library, obviously, so no course is really free, so to speak. I would say our librarians get out probably at least one a month, 1 or 2 a month. It depends on what's going on in the systems. That's probably an average, because sometimes 2 people go to the same seminar. Because they'll just carpool together and they'll get lots of ideas and stuff like that. But it really depends on what's being offered
Sure.
and what the topics are. Because there is a group for tech services, which our cataloger Darcy would go to. There's a group for adult programming, which Mara and Sarah and Susan would be invited to, and those types of things that they go and meet and brainstorm and solve problems together.
So would it be an option to, like, if we send her to the Carnegie thing that we originally wanted to do in the first place? I know that eats up a lot of the budget, but let's say that later on somebody requests to go somewhere and we don't have the funds in that particular account. Can they then do a proposal to the board for us, it'd be like a one-time thing because this is just this year? Like, we could approve for somebody else to go somewhere out of a different account?
Or you could look at the money market account and pay for this out of the money market account.
So how have these funds been used in the past years? Are you just using 4K every year?
No, I've been using probably 3.5 to 4K every year. It covers memberships to professional organizations, because we also get their publications, and continuing ed as far as any class fees and mileage. If they go for a full day and there's lunch included, and we would pay lunch out of there, those type of expenses.
Do we need a motion to approve this tonight? I mean, because isn't the class
The
coming
class
up?
is
The class is coming up,
So we
yeah.
need to make a decision tonight. And
I'm not sure the board, and maybe I shouldn't say this, is aware, but Amy is also the president of another board. Does everybody know that? Okay, so, I mean, leadership is, she does have that. Again, my question is, Amy, do you think you would benefit from
You think she's gonna say no?
Yeah.
No.
Well, I hope you can be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
If you're looking over this stuff and you're like, well, I only pretty good at most of the stuff, then, tell us.
I think I would benefit especially from the communication aspects of it. I think I would benefit from talking to other people in other industries, because I think we can get a lot from business and from nonprofits. I think that it would help me in, I talked to Paul about this, about coaching other staff would help with that as well.
Okay,
So,
okay.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the cost of the Carnegie course.
what fund would you like it out of?
Oh, where has it been coming from in the past?
Well, I've never gone to something this big. So, there's options within,
So it sounds like the two options were either take out a continuing ed or
Right.
the money.
Money market.
they're the money market account.
Well, what if we took it out of continuing education at this time, and if the
Okay.
need arises for training, which it probably will, we
So,
could take it out, but another thing we could take it out of, we could take it out of the strategic plan, because developing the director is part of our strategic plan.
so what we're going to do, we're now getting into that slippery slope.
Yes, we are.
Keep taking money out of the reserve, keep taking it out of the reserve. Don't stick to budget, you don't have to worry about budget. Because if you want something,
Take it out.
just take it out of the reserve. You know, I'm violently opposed to that. Stick with your budget.
Okay, so
Why do we have a budget? Take it
take
out
it out
of,
of the continuing.
take it out of the continuing education.
Yeah, that changed.
Okay, so we
Okay.
have a motion from Joanne to go for the Dale Carnegie class and take the money out of the continuing education. Do we have a second?
A second.
Do we have any more discussion, or shall we take a vote? We will take a vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye. Nay.
Nay. Okay. Okay. We will move on to new business, the 2019 annual report approval.
Oh, the annual report, yeah.
Annual report.
Yep,
How you wrote it.
yep, that's how I wrote it,
Okay.
yep.
Little different this year. We have graphics and
I
pretty
gave you
type
graphics
stuff.
last year.
Did you?
Yes,
don't
I
remember
did.
that. Okay.
Were you able to do this, were you and Brad able to do it pretty much on your own? Or did you have to have
Yes.
some, much help from Monarch?
We had some help from Monarch, but we got most of our stats ourselves.
That's good. That's good.
Yep. Yep.
It looks very good.
Thank you,
It
thank you.
does.
The circulation for children's is just for ages 0 to 11, instead of up to 18 this year. So our young adult materials went into the adult circulation, so that's why it might look a little different. The transit numbers also includes ILLs, so not just the transits between libraries. So when you look at our numbers in our budget, or not in our budget, in our statistics, it takes the transits and adds the ILL numbers to the transits. Okay? I think the rest is pretty self-explanatory. Do you have any questions? Did I get everybody's address correct on the address lines?
An email check.
And email checks, just make sure that I type those in there correctly. If I didn't, let me know.
I didn't print it out, I left it on my
Yeah.
computer.
My address is technically different.
Oh, I was gonna ask about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your new address?
602 South Indiana Avenue,
Yeah,
Okay.
Sycamore.
Sycamore.
Yeah.
not 5095.
Karen
Okay.
Dot.
But it's still in West Bend, so you still are
Yeah, you're
okay.
good.
Yeah,
Like-
we're all
like
close
2
to each
minutes
other
away.
now.
I'm like,
Great, great.
you're in my neighborhood. No.
I'm on the other side of the bike trail, yep.
Okay, okay. I'll get that updated then before I have Deb sign it.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve this then?
Yes, we need a motion to approve the annual report.
Budget for 2019.
So move.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Further discussion?
I think you did a very good job on it.
Thank you.
So we're
Okay,
doing
we have a
9C.
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And we're on time
We're doing real
with the
good.
report.
Yes.
Yep,
Yep. It's not due till the 29th, so we're good.
we have extra day this year.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we will move on to new business, cell phone use approval.
The cell phone policy was very out of date and out of touch with reality as far as cell phones are in our society today. So the two-sentence policy that we had has been turned into the new cell phone policy that I had drafted for your approval. Does anyone have any questions on the cell phone policy? I think this is something that the librarians can enforce a lot easier. And if there's any wording that sounds weird, please let me know. It's pretty straightforward.
Not so much on the policy, how does a patron know? Like, what is the signage, what is the? like,
We will put signage up.
Is that
Yep.
done in, yeah?
Mhm.
I mean, granted, we're
Yep.
asking, you're saying you can use it, just
Yep.
kind of be quiet, which is
Yeah.
a good balance of it, just.
Right. Be considerate to others is kind of what we're saying. And I will update when and if this gets approved, I'll update the date and everything on the bottom too.
I was gonna make one comment.
Sure.
About, instead of just asking them to go outside, is if we have an open room available, they could probably just step into a room and shut the door.
I
Okay.
tend to think that would then be stretched.
Yeah,
Probably.
And that's the problem with it, is it?
yeah, and it depends on where they are in the building.
Right,
I'd rather just ask them to please go outside
Yep.
okay.
than anything, especially if it's a nice day.
Yeah.
You know?
10% of them will actually use the restroom, and you can hear it echoing inside the restroom.
Yeah.
Throughout the building.
Nice.
That's a private room.
So that's where you put the cell phone policy, right on the restroom door. Okay, any other discussion on the cell phone use policy?
I make a motion that we approve it with any corrections that have come up.
No corrections.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Oh, numbers D, the patron rules of conduct, and that is to add the line that Amy highlighted on cell phone usage.
Yep, before the line that was there before I changed it in the policy was basically just the cell phone policy, the old cell phone policy in there. So I just made it more generic so that we just follow the cell phone policy, whatever that happens to be at the time.
Thanks for highlighting it in yellow. I
Yeah,
like
that's
that
nice.
idea.
I make a motion, we approve it.
I'll second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Question in general, when you put these in the policy manual, do you then note on the page itself when it was updated, the date and all that?
I do.
And then, I can't remember, is there an index?
Oh, I know what you're talking
Oh, you
Of-
mean
to
on
what-
the,
To what changed?
to what changed?
Yeah,
Or-
well, not what changed, but is the index updated? I can't remember.
Yes.
And it then shows that it was as of February.
Oh, no, it doesn't say as of. It just says what the policy, it just says the policy, and then you click on the policy, and then the PDF comes up of what the policy is, and it'll state it on there when it was updated.
Okay,
It's not an ISO manual. We don't have, it's not an ISO manual that you have to do that.
Do we have any policies that haven't been updated or reviewed in, a 2 years or 5 years
Oh,
or
yeah.
something like that?
Yeah, there's some that are 5 years. I'm going through them now.
Okay, that's a
So-
good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next one is on the collections, new business, collection and equipment policy approval.
Okay, we had received a nice donation of cake pans to the collections, and they're really cool.
Oh, they're good luck.
They're really cool. We got about 30 of them from one patron who was cleaning out, and they're in great condition. They're like new. There's anything from a fire truck to an Easter egg to
Wow,
lots of different types of cake pans.
Okay.
It's just amazing.
I'll get the fire
And-
truck.
Good to know.
And they're great for kids' parties, for holidays, those types of things. And it might be something that someone may not want to buy once
Right.
for one thing,
Exactly.
but they could borrow them from the library, which I think is great. So I'm requesting that we add that collection to our collections. Those cake pans would circulate for 14 days. We would charge $1 a day if they are late, and $5 if they're returned unclean.
What if they're damaged?
Then they would pay for the cake pan.
Okay, that should be in there, I think.
Yeah.
You know, if damaged, replacement value.
Okay. I guess we don't have that, okay,
No,
okay.
I think that'd be kind of
that's
kind
kind
of
of
a neat
cool.
thing to advertise.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
agree.
You know, maybe even make it a display.
That might
I've
not
never
be-
heard of a fire truck cake.
Oh,
Cake
yeah,
oven.
oh, like the cake decorating store in Germantown, you get all those fancy pans.
Really?
Question though.
You
we
know,
don't-
the,
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
The question on that, do we explicitly state that if you damage a book, you will be charged
No.
the cost of the
No.
book? That's the same concept here.
True.
No,
Yeah.
You really
can't
don't
do
need that. It's extraneous,
Well,
or
it
it's
does
signaling
say,
it out.
yeah, it does say the West Bend Community Library is not responsible for,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I think it'd be extraneous to throw that in there.
okay,
Okay.
that's true.
do we need to change our policy that we will accept cake pans but only in good condition?
Well, any, I guess,
Collection.
this is discussion, or
Yeah, this is just a,
in general on a collection, it's up to the library director or your staff to decide what we're gonna accept?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. The other thing on this, policy is we have gotten a lot of donations, and we've been buying some, TV series that have been really popular. We would like to put those out into their own collection and have them circulate for as long as nonfiction DVDs circulate, which is 14 days for a full season of a series. So that's the other change that was in the, this policy as well.
Got it.
So I'll ask for a motion to approve.
I make a motion that we approve the collection and equipment policy.
I'll second.
You
we
win.
have a motion and a second. Any further,
No,
any further discussion? We have grown. We have grown, because I remember sitting here sometimes where we'll never get a second.
Really?
Yes, so that's very good. We have a motion and a second to approve the collections and equipment policy. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
my friend used to bake cakes, she must have 10 of those different pandas and all, yeah, for parties, kids' parties, and they're not cheap.
No, they're
No,
not.
they're not.
And I'm sure people will enjoy that. Chris? The
Yes.
kids?
Right?
Get Leanne to do those bacon.
I bet you'll hold on to it for too long, you'll be paying all these late fees, just like we do for everything else.
Okay. Our next regular meeting is Tuesday, March
St. Patty's
17th.
Day.
St. Patrick's Day,
Oh.
yes.
17.
Yeah, I will be out of town.
I got it.
And, assigned task list?
There wasn't any.
I know. I think that's a first.
That's a first.
That's a first. Wow. And
Yeah.
on that happy note, meeting adjourned.